What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Matty B. Welcome back to the channel, and thank you all for tuning in. As always, really appreciate each and every one of you. I say it every time, but it means a lot to me. Sorry if my audio is a little bit off. I'm at a different location right now, and I don't have my mini mic or any of that on me, but don't worry. I got another one on the way, no choice. But for today's video, whatever the hell time I'm going to release this at for this video, we got a race review of round 10 at AMA Supercross and the Super Motocross World Championship, where we saw a serious shakeup in the 450 Championship with a disastrous main event and a couple of crashes from Hunter. Tomac inherited the points lead, but he also had a very puzzling night, to say the least. We had another dominant win from Kickstart Kenny, a super positive return to racing for Chase Sexton and Kawasaki. Cooper Webb went rogue, but luckily the AMA did not this week. And then the 250 class, once again, we saw total domination by one of the best young talents the sport has seen in quite some time. Hell, we even saw one of the craziest mid-race K-Dub transfers of all time, too. But before we get into all that stuff, got to give a huge thank you and a shout out to my channel sponsors. They make it possible for me to get to all the places and the races that I go to bring you guys the content that I do. So please do me a favor and go check them out. Huge thank you to ASV Inventions, home of the Unbreakable Lever, Serious Studio, who can take care of all your merch needs, and the DesignLabCo.com. They got some great designs in their lab at their co, and if you need graphics, look no further than there. I have links and discount codes in my video description, and if you guys buy from them, a small portion of the sale goes to me to help keep us going. So if you're supporting them, you are literally supporting me. And also, I'm doing the TV announcing for the GT Arena Cross Series on Fox Sports 1 and Fox Sports 2 with Daniel Blair. Here's the airing schedule. Would really appreciate it if you guys would tune in. Not only will entertainment be guaranteed in your contract, but it'll also help me keep my job. But thank you guys again for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Alright, to start off tonight's video, as always in the contract, we got some thoughts on the track, and coming into this thing, I was really positive and hopeful about the racing that this track was going to provide, and I mean, it was still an awesome night of racing, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's Supercross and it's sick on a bad night, but in my opinion, I don't think the track quite came together like I was hoping it would while looking at the track map, and I guess a lot of that's kind of on me because I was so excited about some of the sections that I overlooked how boring some of the other sections might be, like some of the ones with the shorter lanes and not many options, but I did think it was pretty interesting how they added entrance options to two of those rhythm sections, and the one at the beginning of that long rhythm was pretty cool to see the two very different lines, with one of them having that cool little hip jump at the end of it into the next section, but there just wasn't quite as much action on this layout as I was expecting. On paper, it was really busy, but the actual build itself, it didn't really appear to be the gnarliest thing ever, but here I am saying that on the couch. I probably would have gotten life lighted out during the D practice. It doesn't even exist, but last thought on the track is about the loops and how I wish they were a little bit more difficult. Of course, by the end of the night, they get cupped out and they're chewed up, and that's what makes them so hard and sketchy. But, I mean, it was just insane watching how fast the guys were hitting them at the beginning of the night, especially in the heat races, because, you know, they just weren't that big. I feel like the bigger whoops would also lower the speeds for pretty much everyone except for Cole Davies, and that would also make crashes like Caden Dundee's heat race crash not quite as spectacular because speeds would be lower, but at the end of the day, no matter what you do, Supercross is Gnarls Barkley, and you'll have some carnage in the contract from time to time. But with all that being said, now let's get into the results. We'll start with the 250 East class. And wow, not much to say about this race other than total domination from Cole Davies. He didn't even need a start to do it. The dude started back in like 10th, 12th. I don't even know. Didn't even see him at the beginning. He was far enough back to where I didn't really think he was going to be able to make it happen, but he came right through the pack with pretty much surgeon-like precision, just right through everybody, picked his way through one by one, and it was a very, very dominant ride, a very telling ride as far as who's taking control of the series, because Hamburger was off to the races. He was out front, and it looked like he had that one in the bag. It looked like a great opportunity for him to gain some points on Davies, but Cole showed why he's got the red plate. He showed why he's gotten the last couple of wins, and of course the whoop speed was insane. That's where he ended up doing a lot of damage and getting that move done on Hammaker. But yeah, definitely looking like Cole Davies is looking like the championship guy moving forward for this thing. I think the only guy that can really beat Cole Davies right now is Cole Davies, which, you know, Hammaker has had him a couple times in qualifying, but when the gates dropped, especially for the main events, Davies has really been putting it together ever since that Triple Crown. So total domination from Davies, and then a second from Hammaker. He's got to be bummed on that. He got the start. He put himself in a perfect position to do it, but Davies was just a little bit better on the night. And Seth talked about how he came in with a little bit limited prep. Excuse me, I was stuttering. My choke was on there, but he came in with some limited prep, got a really late start, and he was saying it didn't really affect him, but I feel like we would be seeing just a little bit of a sharper Seth Hammaker if he had the entire offseason. He'd maybe be just a little bit more well put together, but now midseason, you know, he had a late start, and he's still working on some of the weaknesses midseason that he maybe would have been able to polish up a little bit more during the offseason, but still, he's right there within striking distance if Davies makes a big mistake. But the only thing that's not in his corner right now is the depth of field is kind of going away by the round. We're getting a lot of injuries in the contract now, so with every passing week, he loses a few more guys that could get in between he and Davies, but still he's right behind him in the 2 spot, and he's just got to keep collecting these points, staying right there, and he's just got to keep playing to his strengths. I mean, Davies' strength is the speed, so maybe Seth's strength will be the consistency by the end of this thing, so he's just got to stay in it, no choice. And then rounding out the podium, a very lackluster ride, but he still got on the box. Who doesn't love some box? But Joe Shimoda, way off the pace of those top 2 guys. He actually had to fight for his life like he was in downtown Minneapolis with Cody with a T-Shock, but Cody with a T ended up heading straight for the manager's tower, went totally AWOL, smashed right into it. I think Sushi was probably going to get him back anyway, but way off in third for Shimoda, and he's starting to trail off the end of this championship fight between Davies, Hammaker, and himself. So it's looking like he's going to need some help or some serious wins in a row to kind of get this thing back going in his favor. But then right behind Shimoda in third, a fourth for Cody with a T-Shock after almost committing first-degree murder on his teammate Simonson over the Supercross triple or right before it. But that was a really good ride for Cody. He finally showed some signs of life that he has shown in the last couple of years that we've yet to quite see yet this year in 2026. But he definitely showed some promise. It ended up with a crash that could have been way worse, but he ended up getting pretty lucky, and it wasn't too bad, but still a fourth on the board. That's a good finish for him. And then a career best. They gave the dude an interview and put him on TV, which I think is really cool. 5th place for Henry Miller on the new MX-6 Kawasaki team. And this team is throwing stacks of cash at the sport. Like, I can't say it enough. So for them to get their foot in the door and get a nice top 5 finish, a good boost for the team is really cool. You know, they're spending all that money. You want some sort of return for it, at least in the results column. And then also for Henry Miller, super cool, awesome ride for him. I mean, he's a privateer journeyman dude. He's been around on a lot of B-level, lower-level teams, and he's just stayed in it, never quit, and now he's got himself a top 5, so great ride there. And then throughout the rest of the top 10, a 6 for Dax Bennick. I feel like it was a little bit of a missed opportunity for Dax because he's got a couple of guys out. He's been really good this season, but he had a crash. Still got a 6th, and I believe that 6th ties his worst result of the season, same as the shootouts. So for him to be having his worst finish be 6th this far into the season, I think is a huge improvement for Dax. And then a 7th for Romano. Great ride for the fill-in. He almost won the heat race. I feel like that would have been huge for him, but still he showed some speed there. And you know what these team managers say, we can work with speed. But still, great ride for Romano to get it right into the top 10. I feel like that's about all he can ask for limited prep on the bike and just jumping into this thing mid-series. And then an 8th for Kyle Peters on the PRMX Kawasaki. Last second deal at the National from what I could see. He just showed up on the Cowie this week. I think he's filling in for Liam Aloff, who has the broken femur, and seemed to work out for him pretty good. I mean, we have some people out, but he did put in his best result of the season. Had to go through the LCQ to do it, but great ride for KP in 8th, and then another one from Derek Kelly. Awesome ride for him in 9th. He's another one of those MX-6 Kawasaki guys, and like I said, they're putting some serious funding into that thing, and that's why they got guys in the top 10, so good to see that paying off for those guys. And then another huge shout-out for my guy Luke Neese, top 10 in the 10 spot. I think he's had 2 separate shoulder separations on both shoulders throughout this beginning of the Supercross season, so I don't believe he's been operating at quite full capacity here, but still he got himself into the top 10, and that's cool to see. Great ride for Luke. I feel like I've told all these guys great ride, but I am a fan at the end of the day of seeing these guys do good. I love seeing the guys succeed, especially when they're my boys, so bravo all around. And then this is a cool story too. Got to give a shout out to Evan Ferry because he's had a really rough go of it. I mean, it's been bad with the injuries and sickness and health issues, and you name it, he's dealt with it. Even got penalized and fined for one of the most egregious penalties of all time last weekend, but he's really been putting in some good rides, kind of silently, but they're getting a little bit louder because he's starting to get some TV time, starting to run up front in the heat races, and the kid's always been uber talented. I mean, you've heard a lot about the Instabangers and stuff, and in my opinion, the Instabangers are a clear indicator of a lot of talent on the bike because you don't want to watch an Instabanger of some dude that's not very talented, but he's finally translating it into some results here on the pro side. It's really good to see because I know he's working hard, and it just hasn't quite come together, but great ride for Evan Ferry, just outside the top 10 and 11th, and then 16th for Luca Marsalisi. Just got to give a shout out to him and my boys at the Triumph of Harrisonburg team. This is their first year putting in a Supercross effort, and that's their first main event made, so congratulations to my boys there. And then an 18th for Caden Dudney. I say it every week, but damn it, I'm telling you the results are going to come at some point. It's just, I don't know what the deal is about finishing the job. It just hasn't quite happened. Even with that heat race, he was about to win it and then went AOT, ass over tea kettle in the loop section. But man, he's got speed and he's an unbelievable rider. And then in the 19th spot, Devin Simonson. Oh, what could have been for my guy. He was up there fighting for the podium. Whenever he started to get passed by Shimoda, I think he got a little bit rattled or maybe stuffed a little bit. I don't even remember. It all happened so fast. But then Shock ran him wide. Devin stayed in it. He had no choice, and they almost went side by side over the Supercross triple, but they've kind of locked bars on the way up to it, and Devin did the gnarliest turn down for who, what, when, where, why, and how K-Dub transfer across lanes, backwards, didn't hit anybody, and then just turned around, hit the same section again, and kept on digging. And I thought that was just going to fire him up and propel him right back to the pack, but then I guess he had another crash, and that ended the night early, which really, really sucks. But gosh, there's just so much potential being shown out of Devin Simonson right now, and I love to see it. I said before the season he could be the surprise, and I'll be damned if he hasn't been the surprise. So regardless of the result, great job, Devin. Seriously, he's been working hard, and it's really showing. And then a 20th for Casey Cochran. I'm not sure what happened in the main event, but I was glad to see him back from the broken collarbone. Casey just needs to string together a couple of good races, a couple of good results, because he's a really, really good and talented racer. He's just had a really rough run with the injuries and a lot of bad luck and stuff like that. And then last but not least, Thrasher in 21st. We almost saw classic Thrasher mode where the dude just goes from going 10, 10, 9, 10, 11, and then just winning, but wadded it up in the whoops. It wasn't the first guy we saw do it, and it wasn't the last either, and that was all she wrote for that. But at least we saw some signs of life out of the dude. I thought we were going to see his face on a milk carton coming up here soon, but just didn't quite put it together all the way through that main event, but we had potential. And then we'll move on to the 450 class with another win, second one of the season, and I think they said this is the first time he's had a multi-win season in several years, but Kickstart Kenny Roczen, great ride. Had control of that thing pretty much from the get-go and just rode a very smooth, calculated race. Didn't really have much pressure behind him, besides a little bit from Chase Sexton early, but a lot of talk from Roczen over the last week or so about how he's pissed at all the people. Honestly, like myself, I've talked about it, but how people are talking about how he fades a little bit late season. It doesn't quite have the same fire in the latter half of the series, but clearly, he still got it. He got a great win, great ride. And now with the problems with Hunter Lawrence, now he's not too far out of this championship. I mean, it's still a stretch, but I think he's gotten it to within 15. So great work for Ken Roczen and the Kickstarter. And then the second spot, this is a heartwarming one. A great return to racing for Chase Sexton and the Kawasaki. Got a heat win, got a second place. So that's his second best result of the season, coming off of an injury also. So it's really cool to see all their hard work pay off as well. They've had Kyle Chisholm testing the bike. I know Brock Dickel's been through every part under the sun. And, none of these struggles have been for lack of effort. That's for damn sure. So it's just cool to see it all come together for the guys. I mean, a couple of guys had issues, but Chase didn't, and that's part of it. So, awesome to see that. And then a third spot, this is awesome to see as well. After a horrible, disastrous, I don't even know what you want to call it, season. It's been an absolute dumpster fire, but Malcolm Stewart's on the box finally. It's been a rough run ever since he landed on Justin Barcia at Anaheim 1, but everything's finally buffed out. I feel like it took him a while to get back to full health because he was just racing and grinding every weekend, but now he's got a spot on the box. Hopefully that'll kind of propel him to some good momentum and maybe a good string of finishes to finish this thing out. And then a quiet fourth for J. Coop. Damn it, that's just what J. Coop does every weekend. I feel like I could just copy and paste besides that one time where he got a wild hair up his ass and won a main at the Triple Crown, but a fourth for him. He got Tomac late, and he was ripping, but maybe not the best start, and just kind of found himself in that pack of guys. He was making moves, but just ran out of time to make a run at the box. And then a fifth place for Eli Tomac. New points leader, but definitely not the ride I was expecting out of him. I feel like he had the potential to at least be third place on the night. Kenny and Chase, they were ripping. They were kind of gone, and no disrespect to Mookie and J. Coop, but I feel like Tomac on almost any night would be able to beat those guys and be on the box and take a few more points onto the total into his points lead over Hunter Lawrence now that Hunter had all those issues. But definitely was an off night for Tomac. I mean, when J. Coop passed him, it didn't look like he had a ton of fight left to give, and it's not like Eli doesn't know the situation. I mean, he rode past Hunter Lawrence when he was down. He knows that points are at stake and it's a championship and this and that. So to see him not really have any fight, I feel like said a lot. I feel like that really shows that he just didn't quite have it in him. But hopefully Birmingham, and now this weekend, it was just a couple of bad weekends back-to-back, and they can kind of regroup, maybe figure a couple of things out on the setup and come back firing at the next round in St. Louis next weekend. I almost forgot where it was real quick, but even though he's got the points lead, it wasn't necessarily the ideal night. And if you're Hunter Lawrence and you just gave up the points lead to Eli Tomac, but you saw that he kind of rode like that, then maybe you're not super worried, but it's Eli Tomac. Beast Mode could come out at any time. It has no choice, but then a sixth spot for Cooper Webb, another what could have been for him. I feel like he for sure would have been on the box, but he kind of went rogue on Jorge Prado. I don't know what's been going on with Coop in the decision-making department this year because it's been very uncharacteristic of him. I mean, he had the hit with AP at Anaheim 1. He did it again with Colt Nichols at the second round in San Diego, and then he did it one more time. He and Prado end up on the ground. I mean, that's never what you want to see. That's the one rule of taking people out is you're not supposed to crash too, and now I'm kind of wondering, does AMA hit him with the Evan Ferry invitational penalty like 5 minutes after the race, which was actually like 10 minutes ago, and I haven't seen anything. So who knows if that precedent's going to be kept up with, but definitely not a great move for Coop and not a great night in sixth. Title over, you hate to see it, but then rounding out the top 10, a 7th for Ferrandis, Ducati Randis. He's back in action after a bad thumb, and I feel like taking a couple of rounds off of injury and coming right back and getting a 7th, I feel like that's about all you can ask for, and that might even be his best finish of the season or tie it, so good work for Dylan. And then that 8th for Justin Hill. I don't have much to say, but I'm sure he was jumping something cool and looking cool doing it. A 9th for Savacci. He's back from injury as well, just soldiering through, doing the graveyard shift. But he's still in the top 10, and then a solid top 10. Rounding out the top 10 for Garrett Marchbanks. Wasn't an easy route to get to it. He had to go through the LCQ. He got tagged on the start of the LCQ. It was a real risky operation, but he ends the night 10th, so not the best season for him or the Kawasaki team, but at least he can use this top 10 and maybe build on that and just try to get a couple of good rounds in a row in his contract. And then last but not least in the 450 class, an 18th and a loss of the points lead for Hunter Lawrence. Definitely a disaster for him. I feel like this was the round that all the Tomac fans have been holding their breath waiting to see, because Hunter really hasn't had a huge mulligan this season. I mean, he's made a few small mistakes like with Roxon, with that takeout and all that, but his worst finish up until this point, I believe, was 4th, and now he goes 18th, so that's a big drop on the scorecard there. But still, I mean, like I talked about earlier with Tomac, if you're Hunter, yeah, it was a disaster. It wasn't ideal, and the real reason you got 18th was because your bike was all jacked up, so that didn't work out in his favor as well. But also, I mean, if you watch Tomac in Birmingham and this weekend, he wasn't exactly the force that you were working with at the beginning of the season. So if you're Hunter and his camp, you're probably just hoping that Eli continues to ride like that and you can just make up the points next weekend. But when you're going up against a guy like Beast Mode, I don't really think you can count on stuff like that. So I'm sure Hunter and HRC, they got to be bummed on the night, especially because he could have got up from the crash and probably kept digging, but the front brake said no moss, and really lucky for Hunter to get away from that one relatively unscathed. He took a really hard hit, but he got right back up and got back after it, so hopefully there's no lingering injury or issue there. But as far as tonight's video, that's all I got for you guys. As always, please let me know in the comments what you thought of the video. If you liked it, if you disliked it, if you agree with my takes, if you disagree, if I'm just a cooked unit idiot or anything in between. You guys know we're here for all of it. But the next round, next weekend, we'll be in St. Louis for another East-West showdown, and we'll be here to not only preview it, but review it as well. So, like I told you guys, thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one for your choice.